be my favorite tree. This tiny little I loved that the last two trees that we saw, and the one was the blue, had the blue glass balls, and they were in multiple sizes, and it was full of blueberries and blackberries. And the reason I loved that tree so much is because I've been on the hunt for blackberries. I have a tree in my mind that calls for blackberries, and I've not been able to find them. And I saw that tree. I just loved it. I also loved the depth, how it went from tip of the branch all the way into the trunk, and the variety in the sizes of the balls. And it wasn't a huge, impressive tree, but it stopped me in my tracks. I loved it. I thought it was gorgeous. Okay, gorgeous. I'm calling this one my favorite, for sure. Look at the black bows. Okay, there's big ribbon at the top. The other tree that I liked was so impressive. I found the blueberries and the blackberries tree, and then I turned around and saw that one, and I was blown away. I loved so many things about that. I'm always looking for different decorating techniques, and that one had a lot that I had not done and that I haven't seen. So I just really loved it. It had depth. It went so far out. The branches came so far out, and the decor was all the way in up against the trunk. So I really loved that effect. They had a lot of flowers, especially hydrangeas, close to the trunk. And then they had a lot of viney type florals out towards the ends of the branches. And then the other thing that I liked a lot was they had the ribbon. This is how they did the ribbon. So they had the big chunky 4-inch ribbon in the tree, but it wasn't the first thing that you saw. It was deep in the trunk of the tree along with the hydrangeas, and it was sparingly used. And I really loved that. I loved that technique. And then on the tips of the branches, it was in multiple places. It was on the branches, sometimes it was on an ornament, but they used small satin black bows that I loved. I bought some that I have listed this year, and I've used it in other trees because I just think sometimes when you have a beautiful floral tree, a lot of just a little punctuation marks of black just really bring it together. That's how they use those black bows. I felt like they were just little punctuation marks throughout the tree. I also noticed that they had flowers that kind of looked like they were growing up from the branch and in this direction, and the flowers had the bulbs on them. So I loved that. So it really looked like it was growing out of the branch, growing up. Some of the ornaments were actually bud vases And I don't know if you noticed that in the video, but some of the ornaments were bud bases, and so they also had flowers coming out of them. And let's see what else. Oh, they had some that were hanging. They weren't, the clear nylon threads, but they were hanging by a thread. So they came down. They weren't attached right at the branch like everything else is. They just kind of dangled down and really filled the space that was left from the depth going in and out on the branches. I loved it. I know it's not your regular decorated tree. It's just, that's what I loved about it as well. It's unexpected and just classy, well done, and not your traditional Christmas decor that you see. It was a surprise, and it was unexpected, and I loved it. Now, I know that I'm probably not putting that kind of tree in my house, and that's maybe not the kind of tree that you would pick for your house, but for me, it was more about the techniques that were used, and it just was a beautiful statement, and it created such a beautiful moment. I did want to say about market trees versus your home decor. Totally different ballgame. Totally different. At market, if you noticed, I did put this in one of the pictures, but there are so many lights. So everything is so well lit. They have spotlights, track lighting all over the ceilings. They have at least 4 or 5 spotlights on every tree. So they are really lighting the trees and the decor from the outside. They are not lighting the trees with the Christmas lights. All of the trees definitely had lights on them. They were pre-lit trees, but there were no extra lights involved here, unless you count the spotlights. So that's a totally different thing than you would see at your house. I don't have 5 spotlights to put on my Christmas tree. I did this year have 2 small spotlights that I did put on my trees. I filmed it, never posted it. Maybe I'll get around to that. But I did put some light on the outside of the tree. It does make a huge difference. I'll show you that. But just wanted you to know, lights are my first priority. I will definitely be bringing you the lights this year in 2024. That's not what market is about. Definitely not what market is about. But I am still about the lights. So I will be bringing you the lights. I've got a lot planned there. So if you're thinking, where are the lights? They're not at market. But I will have them for you.